Hey everybody, I can't tell, I think I'm live. I hope everybody's doing well. I appreciate y'all bearing with me and us not doing this a couple of weeks ago or last week. Long story short, I got bronchitis and that turned into acute pneumonia, and it basically made me rest. um, I'm not quite 100%, but I'm getting there. So we're going to start Money Matters Lives today. Okay, so for those of you who may be new to the group and who don't know me, my name is Lisa Marie. I am the owner and founder of the Sassy Wealth Coach LLC. My passion is to help as many women as possible stand on their own 2 feet and be empowered by their money instead of controlled by it. Money Matters Lives are going to be every single Monday. Right now we're going to do 10 a.m., but with school starting back and not knowing how that's going to work, or if they're going to be, we don't know what they're doing. Right now, everybody's supposed to be going fully back. So with that being said, there is a chance that I may have to change the time, but right now it's 10 a.m., okay? Also, for those of you that hop on live, please let me know you're here. And if you're watching the replay, which I totally understand because some people may be at work or some people may have business calls, etc., just let me know you're watching the replay. And if you have questions, please, please, please let me know. That's what I'm here for. Just so you know, these Money Matters are going to be on personal and business. I've decided, well, I knew a long time ago, or knew they go hand in hand. So I'm going to make sure that I'm doing training for both personal and business finances to help y'all. So even if you're in this group and you don't own a business, still watch the videos, still watch the lives, because I promise there's going to be some training that will help you as well, because some of this stuff will go hand in hand. But today I'm doing the live on keeping your personal and your biz money separate. I sound like a broken record when I talk about this, but it's because it's just that important. I don't know how to stress how important it is. It's a must. Okay, you know, if you keep a spreadsheet to keep up with your expenses for your business, okay, fine. But don't commingle your personal funds and your business funds and your personal expenses and your business expenses. Come the end of the year, when it's time to do taxes, you're going to get bit in the ass. It's just the only way I know how to put it. You're just going to have a hard time. So if, for example, if you have all your business money expenses coming in out of your personal account, that reason that needs to change is because it's going to cause you so much chaos. So I tell people, just stop what you're doing, wait till the live's done, but stop what you're doing and run to the bank. Now, we may not be able to run to the bank now. You may have to call and make an appointment. Either way, or you can go online and set up the account. Either way, get the account set up and get that stuff separated. I am going to be doing a live to kind of go over some easy steps for that once those accounts are set up. So that way it doesn't cause more chaos separating that stuff. But think about it. If you have them together in one account, okay? Business expenses, personal expenses, your electric bill, your phone bill, and then you also have Zoom and Acuity and whatever else you have for your business, all come out of one account. How can you keep track? How can you keep track of exactly what you've got going on in your business? And if you have your spouse's income being deposited and you have your regular job income, if you have a regular job, and your business income, it's all going in one account. It's hard to keep track of actually how your business is doing. You can, but it's just difficult. So I tell people that you can't see how much you're being paid. You can't see how much of your expenses are going out. And honestly, you can't pay yourself from your business doing it that way. So then when you don't see yourself getting paid, you get frustrated, right? And you feel like, okay, this isn't working. Well, it's not. Okay, long story short, it's not. It's not working, but that's because you're commingling. Excuse me. I'm going to be stopping to drink some water every now and then, so bear with me. It's not, because you're commingling, okay? And commingling just causes a lot of chaos. Here's another example. If you, for example, okay, let's stop. What will it do to have separate finances, have your separate accounts, right? Having the separate accounts will make your finances so much easier, so much clearer, and way more manageable. Your personal finances too. Getting the business stuff out of your personal finances will allow you to see what the hell's going on with your personal money, right? It will allow you to see your true personal expenses, because they're no longer commingled. It will allow you to see how much your household is making, okay? Because remember, your business income you want separate so that you can pay yourself. So you're going to be able to see those things. You're going to be able to actually look and say, this is my business income expenses. This is my personal. Here's my expenses, and this is how much I'm paying myself currently. What needs to change? How can it change? When it's all commingled, if I was to ask you, you wouldn't know. 9 out of 10 times you would not know. Some would, because they keep savvy spreadsheets, but then they're not sure if they've got everything straight. Okay? So I hear from my clients a lot that I need to have my business income and my personal account so that I can pay my personal bills. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. I mortgage, insurance, and I get it. But here's the thing. If you have where you use your business income after expenses, so how you use your business income after your business expenses is you pay yourself. And I can't tell you, I can't even begin to stress to you what it means to pay yourself from your business. It feels like a business. It, honest to God, feels like a true business. Think about it. Even if you start out paying yourself $25 a week because you're just starting, $100 a month, $50 a week, whatever. I started paying myself a very minimum amount, to be honest, almost 5 years ago. God, it's hard to believe it's been 5 years, almost 5 years. And I gradually increased that. But the reason why I was able to do that is because I was actually able to see what my business was bringing in. And then when I was paying myself those small amounts, it felt good. It was a boost to the ego. It was like my business is paying me. And then the first time I was able to pay, I don't know, I think 3-4 bills, and it was from my income that I made from my business that I paid myself. Holy crap, it was like, oh, I contributed. I did it. I didn't have to go ask for money. And so if your spouse is paying majority of the bills and you just want to be able to contribute to like vacation. I had a client who wanted to contribute to vacation just so bad. She wanted to contribute to something of the household. So that's how I had her get started. I was like, pay yourself $25 a week. Put it in a savings account. Let it sit there. Just keep adding it up. And all of a sudden she comes up and she goes, I was doing that. And after a couple of months, I gradually increased it. I have a few $100s. I just paid down a credit card. I just contributed to my spouse. I told my spouse, you don't need to do that. I have $500 or I have $400. I'm paying on the credit card. And it knocked the balance somewhat down. And then she kept doing it. Y'all, it adds up. Okay? But you can't do it if they're commingled. I cannot stress that enough. So when you transfer money from your business account to your personal account for expenses, think of it as just like you would if you were working in a corporate job. They pay you and money goes into your personal account to be used. Your business is now paying you, okay? And how your business is paying you is you're determining an amount and you're having it transferred into your personal account every Friday, every other Friday, or once a month, whatever works for you. It's the same thing. And this way, because then you're like, oh, if it's commingled, oh, my money's going to expenses. I don't know if I have anything left to invest. And then if you think you have something left to invest, you really don't because it was the spouse's income. Do you see where I'm going with all this? Having it commingled, you can't tell apples from oranges. You can't tell shit. Having it separated, the more income your business makes, you're able to see, hey, I can not only increase my income to this, but I can also invest in this. I can invest in that coach, because you want some of the money going back to your business, right? So you have to be able to see what the hell is going on in order for you to do that, okay? When you have a separate business account, you're able to easily see how your business is doing. I can't stress that enough. How much money you're bringing in, what your expenses are, and I cannot stress this enough. At the end of the year, when you have to report the business income and those business expenses, life will be so much easier than it would be if you were commingling. If you're commingling, tax season is hell, okay? Worse so than normal. None of us like paying taxes, but when you keep your stuff separate, again, whether you're in a software or not, I do recommend that, but that's another live for another day. Even if you're not in a software, if you're keeping your business stuff separate from your personal, you're going to have a lot easier of time gathering those expenses and the income and being able to report it. Whereas if it's commingled, it is going to be a nightmare, because you're going to have to separate out your personal expenses from your business expenses and figure out. And 9 out of 10 times, I promise you, you will end up missing that business expense. I know I started the wrong way. I have clients who have done it the wrong way, and we have missed them. I don't want you to do that. I want you to not miss those deductions, okay? I want you to make sure you know what the hell's going on with your money. So I can't stress enough of having those separate accounts. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and go into a few tips that will easily help you transition to separate accounts. Excuse me. Because I understand for so many that they're like, okay, I have the account set up, now what? How in the hell am I supposed to know when to move this stuff, and how do I even begin? Because then it becomes overwhelming, and you've opened the account and it just sits there and you do nothing with it. Yes, I've had some have that too. Okay, so we're going to go over 3 steps that will help you. Okay. To help you transition to separate accounts. 1, go and open up an account for your business. You can do, most of the banks are allowing free business banks. Check your banks, check credit unions in your area. I am notorious for researching certain areas for my client, each of the areas where my clients are whenever they come to me, and I see what their what charges they are, what other banks options they are. 9 out of 10 times you're going to want it with your same bank that you have, but still want to check and make sure that they don't have some astronomous rule, you know, that you got to keep $1,500 in the account or whatever, like Chase and all them. If you bank with like a small bank, for your personal, 9 out of 10 times they're going to have a small business checking where there's like no fees or minimal fees. Okay. So you definitely want to check that. This is one of the first things that you should do when you start a business. Now, most of you probably have already started your business, so you didn't know that. No problem. Go and open up the account. Okay, you'll be surprised how many people don't do it immediately anyway. All of your business income should go into this account, and all of your business expenses should come out of it. So what you've got to do is you're going to have to, if you have business income coming through like Stripe or PayPal, you're just, once you get that account set up, you're just going to go and change that information. Okay, once you get the account set up, you're going to change that information. All right. Your next step, what I advise to do so that you can get those expenses moved over, is make a list of all your expenses, the business expenses. Make a list of those business expenses with the date that they're due and have it in date order so that you can see. So for example, say you have, I'm going to give you some examples like I have. I have Acuity and I have Zoom. They're due between the 10th and the 12th. Well, today's the 9th. I'm probably going to wait until after the 12th, and then I would move those. Does that make sense? You want to make sure that when you're moving them, you don't move them so close to the due date that something gets screwed up. Because also, once you open that account, you got to wait for the debit card to come in, right? So in that time, you're like, okay, Lisa, what the hell do I do if I'm waiting for the debit card to move in, but I've switched all the income over? Not a problem. You've got your list of your expenses. Transfer that amount over to your personal account, okay, to cover those business expenses until you get everything switched over. It's a step process, but I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, it is worth it. It works, and the amount of empowerment that you get from it, and the freedom and the less chaos you get from it, is just, I can't even begin to stress how much it does, what it does. So you want to just do it step by step, okay? So you're going to get those expenses moved over, okay? And then all your income's in there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look and you're going to see what you're averaging in your income, okay? So the next thing is to pay yourself a salary, right? So I can't stress paying yourself consistently. Y'all, can y'all hear my dog barking? He's going apeshit. I can't stress enough about you paying yourself consistently. A set amount instead of a random transferring money will help you stay on budget for your business expenses and your personal. So what I mean by random transfer is I have some clients who have the separate accounts when they've come to me, but they just transfer money anytime something is due. So light bill came up, oh, transfer 200. This came up, I'm close to negative, oop, transfer 100, transfer 50, transfer 25, transfer 500. Do you see where I'm going? And then they tell me, I'm not paying myself anything. Yes, you are. You just don't see it because you're doing it randomly. We want a set, consistent amount, okay? And we want you to be able to see what that amount is. So, for example, when I first started paying myself, I think it was like $100 a week to begin with. I paid myself every week. I transferred $100 to my personal account from my business account every single week. Every single week. Now I pay myself every 2 weeks, and it's of course higher, but I've been in business longer. But I would have never been able to increase that amount if I wouldn't have had my stuff separated, okay? So you don't want to just do it when a bill's due or when you're getting close to negative. We want you to pay yourself consistently so that you can see how much money you have left to invest. And you can determine, okay, can I pay myself less right now because I have extra income or I have money in savings or I have a spouse income so that I can invest more back into the business. You can't see any of that if it's commingling, okay? 3, a credit card for your business. Now, whether you have a credit card in your business name or your personal name is up to you. That's not my point on this. My point is the commingling. You must keep them separate. I'm going to say that again. You must keep them separate. And what I mean by that is I have personal credit card. I do not have a business credit card right now. Everything's in my personal name. However, I have two. I have 2 credit cards that are personal. They're used just for my business. Do you understand? You can't. It's the same thing with the checking account. If you have a credit card and you use it for your personal and your business, you're commingling and you're going to have a nightmare. Okay? So if you don't have a credit card, fine, dandy, great. I'm not against credit cards. I'm against them being used frivolously and not staying in control of it, which is what I consider bad debt, because there's good debt and bad debt. Again, that's another lie for another day. But you need to be able to keep them separate. So if you have business credit card, it's in your personal name. Make sure you're only using it for business expenses. And y'all, what I do is I'm so I'm so anal. I'm analytical, so I keep this shit separate. You can open my wallet, and this side is my business debit card and the 2 credit cards I use for my business, along with my Office Depot card. And then on this side is my personal debit card and my 1 credit card I use for personal. I have them separate. So I know this side is business and this side is personal. So when I'm doing something with personal, I use the personal debit card or my personal credit card over here. If I'm doing something for business, I use one of these. Once you get in that habit, it makes it so much easier, and the commingling doesn't happen. And that's what I'm wanting you to understand. You're probably saying, well, I use some of my credit cards. I use my credit cards for personal and business. That's commingling, and it needs to stop. I don't care if you use a personal credit card. Honestly, I have personal credit cards. I have one just for business, but I use it just for business. Margaret says, what do you mean move them? Oh, you got it. Hey, Margaret. Yeah, okay. If you I just saw that. So, but do you understand what I mean by moving them? But the credit cards, mixing up your credit cards is just like mixing up your bank accounts. And a lot of times my clients will have separate bank accounts, but they won't have separate credit cards, and that's where they're putting all their charges. Well, you're still causing all the chaos. You're still having that chaos, and you're still causing yourself all that stress. So what I recommend is if you have 2 cards, say, okay, this one's going to be used just for business, this one's going to be used just for personal. Honestly, it doesn't matter which one is which. You just need to make that decision, and then you need to make sure you're moving those expenses. If you have them all on 1 credit card, you're moving them over to the one that you're going to use just for business. Okay, that's really, really important. It's the same thing with doing it with the business checking account. You want to make sure that you're moving those expenses over and separating your personal and your business. You're in the process of transferring my accounts to a smaller bank. Okay, Margaret, for you, what I recommend is the exact same thing. Make a list, because I think your stuff is separate because you have a bank account. So make a list of all your expenses. Excuse me. And what I would do for you is when you make that list, just to be on the safe side, I would go back a few months on your bank statements, on your business account bank statements, and make sure you're not missing anything. Okay? Because you may have some stuff that's yearly, but make a list of everything that comes out of that account. Okay? So anything yearly, anything monthly for you, because you're trying to get it all moved over. And I would start with the stuff that you remember. Again, the vendor name and the date. I can even send you a spreadsheet that I use if you want, and that way you can just type it in. But the date, okay, that's due, and put it in date order. And the reason why you want it in date order is so that when you start moving the stuff, you can mark it off and you can see when it's okay to move things, if that makes sense. Because you're going to have to keep that one bank account open until you get things moved, right? Because you're not going to be able to move everything at one time. So hopefully that makes sense. And then the reason I say go back a few months is just to make sure that you're not missing anything. Because sometimes when we go off of our brains, we have kids, we have a business to run, we have employees, or we have team members, whatever. We don't remember everything. I don't care who you are. No matter how hard we try, we don't remember anything. So you want to go back a few months and make sure you catch that stuff. Oh, you're fine about all the caps, and that would be awesome. Okay, so let me make a note real quick, and I will, I'll send the spreadsheet. And if anybody else wants the spreadsheet, please let me know. It's a general one that I use. That I used to help me when I was listing my expenses and moving my stuff and separating my stuff, and then what I also used when I moved to a different bank. And the reason why you want to do that is you do not want to screw up and get charged twice, or not get charged because you moved it to the new bank and you didn't have the money in there. So you want to make sure that you're keeping up with which ones you're moving and when. And Margaret, you're going to make sure you do the same thing, especially if you're transferring your income over. You want to make sure that you're keeping up with what's where, so that you can actually transfer money to that new account for any of the expenses that you started moving, but still have enough money in the old account for the ones you haven't moved yet. But as long as you keep that list and you check it off, you should, and keep up with it, you should be okay. What I did is I would highlight it a certain color, and the certain color meant it was in the new account, and I would add them up anytime I got paid to move the money over. What you may want to do is keep the money in your account that you have right now until you get the expenses moved over, and then just move the money over to that account until you get all the expenses, and then move your income. Because I don't know if you take insurance for your situation, but I know sometimes the insurance takes a little bit longer to switch over. So you may also want to go ahead and start that process, but then anything else you can gradually move over. I'm happy to talk with you about that too, and you just let me know if any of that did not make sense. Okay. So, if you got anything out of this, excuse me, if you're still using the same accounts for your business and your personal, yes, it's not a big pain, Margaret, but doing it step by step that way, it's just going to help you in the long run, so you don't miss anything. And you taking insurance is going to make it a little bit bigger of a pain to switch everything over, but it definitely can be done. I've helped several clients with it. You just have to be able to keep up with what you've moved over to the new account, what's in that old account, and just make sure that you're keeping up with it, so that you can transfer money over until you can get everything over. So it'll probably be a few months before you can actually close that main account, which is annoying for a lot of people, but it's just a process, because you can't move the expenses until you get your debit card, right? Unless you already have it on a credit card. So you can't do that. So you've got, it's a step-by-step process. But I've done it a couple of times, so I've gotten really good at it with me, and I've gotten really good at helping my clients with it as well. So I'm more than happy. You can Voxer me, or you can message me, and if you have questions, and I can answer them. Okay, so from this live, what I want you to get is that you need to have your stuff separated. I cannot stress it enough. I am going to be doing another live to explain how you can separate your personal accounts, and you're probably going, huh? I promise it's worth it. It's awesome. It is a lifesaver, but there will be a live about that. Actually, I have a bunch of lives scheduled now that I'm feeling better. Once a week on Mondays, we will be doing these Money Matter lives. We will be going over everything and anything money and money mindset, okay? I want to help you as much as possible be empowered, where you know what's going on with your personal money and your business money, so you don't have that chaos. So from today, if you're still having your accounts commingled, make a plan, open those separate accounts, make a plan like we just talked about getting the stuff moved over, so that you can leave the chaos of those mixed accounts behind you. And I promise you, it is worth it in every way possible. I cannot stress it enough. I promise you, it saves you a lot of chaos. Okay, that's it for today. I will see you next Monday at 10 a.m. And remember, yes, it's possible. Money can be sassy and sexy. And if you have questions, make sure you put them in the comments. I will be going back and I will be answering them for you. And I will see you next Monday. Bye.